Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Mindful Mondays. We're so excited to have you. And I love this time of year. For those of you who are in the Northeast, I know people come from different parts of the country. We have people in different parts of the world as well. So I don't know if everybody is evening where they are at, regardless where I am on the East Coast. It is a very exciting time of year. I always look at this year as a very exciting time of year for several reasons. I remember when I was in nursing school, this would be an easier semester, and as was explained to us, just practically speaking, it's because it's the springtime, and the springtime is before the summer. The days, we've already changed the clocks here in North America, and the days are getting a little bit longer. The sun is shining, the weather is a little bit warmer. We're getting excited for the summer. People are able to get out of the house. We don't so cold and tight in. So in general, it definitely has an effect on our emotions and our psychological being. They talk a lot about this in psychology in general, the concept of seasonal psychosis, what they talk about. And it's a lot brighter time of the year in general. That's number one. Number two, it's the holiday season. And for a lot of religions and for a lot of cultures, it is the holiday season. And it is a time, my opinion is, and something that I've experienced, and this again comes from personal experience. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with anything that I say. That's the truth. You can challenge me. You will have an opportunity after we go through this for the Q&A. For those of you who keep coming back, we love having you here, and we're very grateful that you are here, and we love to hear your questions, and hopefully we can answer them accordingly. Even if you, as I stated, you don't have to agree with everything that I say. However, I find that, and something after being in recovery for close to 24 years, I've learned that life in general is an opportunity to learn about myself, about growing, about healing, about getting better, that to take every opportunity that I can, to take every situation that I can as an opportunity to be able to learn something, to be able to grow. Because I do believe that even though I don't have the whole answer to what the purpose of life is, life in general is a mystery. However, one of the things that to me is just pretty basic, that we are born young and hopefully we die after we're old. So obviously the concept of living is to start young and to grow and to learn in the process. So I like taking an opportunity of any situation, any experience that I have as really an opportunity to learn from it and to be able to implement it into my life. That is what we're going to be focused on. I've been teaching this concept for the last 5, 6 years in my program. People love this stuff. I find that this time of year, you can really learn from it in such a profound way that it can help you through the entire rest of your year. Almost, not completely, but almost anything that happens to you in your daily life, you can utilize what we are going to be focusing on today and 2 weeks from now in our bi-weekly Mindful Monday, that we're going to be talking about holiday prep. And a lot of people, when they hear the word holiday, and the truth is, it doesn't really matter what holiday is that you are celebrating. So first I thought, let's take the word holiday. The word holiday in English comes from a word, holy day. It is a holy day. That's what holiday means, holy day. In Hebrew, we call it Yom Tov, which means a good day. There are different languages where they use a holiday as a very spiritual, a very special day. Yet, and this is very true in different cultures and in different religions and in different holidays, that we have taken this concept of holy day and really distorted it and really lost a lot of what it is about. I do believe that a lot of the frustration, a lot of the fear, a lot of the tension that is connected for a lot of people around the holiday season is because they forgot this simple, basic concept, and we're going to be talking about it tonight, that the purpose of holiday, holy day. People say, oh, I'm going on a holiday. That's really going on a vacation. That's different. But a holy day, a holiday is a holy day. And when we lose perspective of that, we can get caught up in a lot of the tension that is connected with the preparations for this. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to admit it to me, just to admit it to yourself. How many of you, when it comes to this time of year, especially when it coming to Passover, start thinking about how much work there is, and instead of looking at it as a holy day, start to look at it as a major challenge, that there's a lot that has to be done. So what I'd like you to do, if you have, you should just in general come to these Mindful Mondays with a pen and paper, A, to take notes, notes. B, so you can write down your thoughts as time goes on. So hopefully you all have a piece of paper. If you don't, take a moment or wait a moment, get a piece of paper, something you can write down, or you can type it on your computer, whatever it is, where you're going to keep these notes for you. And we're going to talk about it. See, the key to learning about something, people believe that the key to learning is by gaining information. The truth is that is really not the key to learning. Yes, we do need information. That is not the kicker. If you take information, you can read books. There are people with photographic memories who can go through multitudes of books. There are people who have multitudes of degrees and alphabet soup after their name with different master's degrees. I work with these types of people who love getting degrees. However, if you don't bring it down to a practical way and use it for your life to improve your life, it will not enhance your life. Yeah, you'll have a lot of information in your head, but in my opinion, to really enjoy the experience of life is to bring it down to practicality. Whatever level of intellect you are at, there are some people who really enjoy knowledge, and that's a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with learning new ideas, learning new concepts, gaining information. However, if they can't become a better individual, how they interact with family, how they interact with friends, how they interact with themselves, how they interact with their God, that knowledge, is that really helping them? I'll just leave that for you to figure out. I have my opinion on it, but I'll leave that for you to decide. The point is, though, that information is not the final key, the solution to be able to enhance your life. That's why people come to me in our programs. They want to better their life, whether it's with our weight loss program, whether it's on our anxiety reduction program, whether they're having difficulty with relationships, whatever they're struggling with, making it through life feeling stuck and lost. They want to be able to function on a mature level and enjoy all the benefits that life has to offer. A patient came into our I work in the psychiatric emergency room a couple of weeks ago. He's a 45-year-old male, and he comes in addicted to heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol. And he's been in and out of rehab. I come to him and I say, you know something, sir? I'm not judging you. I am not better than you. I'm really not. I've been in recovery myself for 24 years. I'm not addicted to heroin. However, just the concept of having an addiction, I understand that. And therefore, I'm not judging you. I'm not better than you. But I have one question for you. When are you going to take the one life that you have and get it together? And he stopped and he started to tear up in his eyes. And it really hit him in his heart. He realized there's only one life. We only have one life. We are gifted with one life. Is it easy? No, it wasn't meant to be easy. We're not entitled. Life is not an entitlement. It is a gift. People come to me because they want to take that one life that we are given and get the most out of it, whatever that means for you. And that's what these Mindful Mondays are. Mindful. We want you to bring your mind into the 1,440 minutes that each one of us, all 8.2 billion individuals on this planet, are gifted with every single day. To be able to utilize them and live them to the fullest is the goal of every one of the sessions that I teach in my program. I'm grateful to say that we have tremendous success in people starting things that they could not do before. Fear of intimacy, psychosomatic symptoms, insomnia, PTSD. Here's just to name a few phobias that we have been able to heal. People in the Mindful Mondays, we've been getting a tremendous feedback. That's all we're doing here. It's a very basic, very simple concept, but not always an easy one. And here's a perfect example. Holiday season, holy day. It's a holy day, whatever that means for you. And yet we're full of tension with the preparation. So hopefully by now you all have a pen and paper. The way to get to the solutions in life is not due to lack of information. It is clarity. By being clear, self-awareness, that's what we call mindful, to be mindful. Mindful Mondays, that's what we do here. So I'd like you to take your piece of paper and be honest. You don't have to show this to anybody. This is for you and you only. And this is the beginning, but it is the fundamental aspects to any type of healing. You must do this. Otherwise, you're going to continue to struggle. You got to be honest. Who do you have to be honest with? Just yourself, not with anybody else. However, I find that it's almost impossible. Experience has shown me in 24 years of doing this stuff that it is almost impossible. I don't like to use the word impossible. I'm sure there are some people somewhere in the world who have been successful other ways, but it's almost impossible to do this work on your own. And the reason is because our mind lies to us for various reasons. And we're not going to spend a lot of time getting into that aspect tonight. That's not the focus. Nonetheless, I want you to take this piece of paper. I want you to write a list of all the things that you do not like, that you find difficult, that you complain about. Be honest. Now's the time to be honest, not the time to say, oh, I'm not going to complain. No, write it down. The things that you do not like about the holidays. I wrote down a few for myself as I was putting this podcast together. I wrote down pressure, that there's a lot of pressure. For instance, this holiday, for those who are getting costumes for the kids, pressure to buy the right food items, pressure to make sure everything is going to be ready in time, pressure to list down who am I going to give those gifts to, who am I going to show money, pressure, the expense costs money. Holidays are expensive. Holidays cost money. The pressure, a lot to do. You have a list of a whole things to do. This is nothing, right? This week's holiday is nothing compared to Pesach, right? In a month from now, Passover holiday. Write it down. The things that you do not like, that you are unhappy with about holidays. And we're only talking about now, and it can be about other holidays as well. The concepts are the same. So write down your list. And then family, right? It's a time to gather with family. For a lot of people, that's a problem. That is a problem. It is, theories talk about this all the time. They talk about a family diet, how much you can handle in family. So if you have small children, dealing with them while making the preparations, the cooking, the cleaning, the shopping, write down the list of everything that you do not like, that is difficult for you during the holiday preparations. In order to do this appropriately and in order to heal from this and to get to the place, because that is what we want to do here, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to write down the pressures, the cost. That's the first one that comes for me always. Oh my gosh, it's so expensive. Those are my first complaints. The getting it together, sometimes the family. Again, write down the list of what it is about the holidays that you do not like, that make you nervous. I've already heard in our program from people a couple of months ago, oh my gosh, Passover coming in 3 months, 4 months. What is that thought? What triggered that thought? Was it the cost? Was it the things that you have to accomplish? The amount of work involved? The decisions that have to be made, the difficulty in preparation? Write down honestly to yourself. This is being honest in your face. You can't do it in your head because our mind will start to rash. Nah, that's not so bad. No, if it's coming to your mind, then it's bad. Then it's a lot. Write it down. Be honest with yourself. We're going to do something with it, so fear not. But that's the first thing you got to really write down. And I know I'm perseverating and repeating it for a very specific reason, because our mind will rationalize, or our mind will be afraid to be honest, because maybe it's a little too overwhelming to think about. I'm not asking you to think about it. I'm just asking you to write it down. We're not doing anything with it right now. We're not going to do anything with it. We're just going to write it down. So once you have, that's great. So let's now change our focus. We spoke about that this time of year is a great time to be able to learn things, learn lessons. Everything in life is an opportunity to learn from. And I want to give you a moment just to write down that list. You can always add to that list as time goes on. Again, be honest with yourself. What is it that you don't like about the holidays? Both in the preparation part of it and the celebratory part of it. It's very possible maybe you don't like the cleanup. There's a lot of cleanup to do. There's a lot of cooking to do. There's a lot of purchasing. Whatever it is, write it all down. So hopefully you've had enough time to write that down. I'm going to talk about the 3 major lessons that we can learn from the holiday season. And these are questions to ask yourself. And maybe this will help you once you've written down this list, to look at the concepts, to look at what you wrote down. And maybe you'll start to understand why you wrote down those specific items of challenges for you in the holiday season. Number 1, you may have a belief and ask yourself, do you believe that hectic, right? It's a hectic season. Nobody's going to deny that. Does that equal chaos for you? Do you have a hard time handling hectic? Does hectic equal chaos? Maybe you never thought about this. Wow, I thought that was a given. Isn't hectic means chaos, means stress? Did you ever think about that? We teach this a lot in our programs. We've proven that it doesn't necessarily have to be, and we're going to talk about this evening. However, I want you to write down that question for you. Does hectic equal chaos? Now, the only time, and this is why it's a lesson. See, the only time that you can learn this lesson, not just learn the concept of it, because it's really nice to talk about concepts. Like we say, information is a great thing. However, if you don't bring it into practical use, it's not really that beneficial, is it? No, it's not going to change your life. However, if you implement it into your life, when will you be able to implement it? Only during busy season. You can't implement it when you're sitting on the beach somewhere and sunbathing. Maybe you're down in Florida in January, right? Or Mexico in February. It's 80 degrees, 90 degrees. And it's, if you come from the northeast like I do, where it's 19 degrees, and then you're sitting on the sun in 80-degree weather and you're sipping on some drink and you're just sitting in the sun and relaxing, it's a hard time to just this concept about chaos and hectic. You're not really going to learn much, because then you're no, it's not so bad. I can handle chaos. It's not really that hectic. I can handle stressful situations. Yeah, that's not the time to learn. You can talk about it, which is a nice conversation, but you're not really going to learn about it. When are you going to learn about it? Now, during chaos time, during hectic season, during stress. This is the time to learn. That's why I say I love this time of year during the holidays, because that is really the opportunity. If you don't lose out on this opportunity and you take advantage of it, you can seriously learn many things about yourself and how to improve, making mistakes, overreacting, and then you can question yourself, oh, why did I overreact? Oh, I have this belief that chaos is equal to hectic, that when it's hectic, it's chaotic. And it's very possible that's the way we were brought up for a lot of us. We're not going to get into the depths of the belief right here, right now. However, just to ask yourself that question. One of the things that we expound upon in our lessons, in our programs, and people have tremendous success. So ask yourself, do you believe that a stressful time, doesn't have to be holiday season, equals chaos? And that's why when the idea of a stressful time is coming, you start to get nervous, because you have this belief. Number two, another thing that's really important to recognize in the holiday season, it's a transitional time. What do I mean by the transitional time? Our schedules are affected. We don't have a regular schedule because we've added another component to our schedule, holiday. And therefore, we've added a lot of extra things that we have to do for the holiday. Transition is a time that, in general, I want you to understand this, in general, in life, is the most difficult thing, is equal to chaos. It really is equal to chaos. The highest transitional time in a human being's life is from adolescence to young adulthood. When people transition, as the theorist Erik Erikson talks about the different stages of life, the different stages of life, the most challenging stage in life for an individual is from adolescence to young adulthood. Getting into new relationships is also, getting married is also a transitional time in an individual's life, which is also a very scary time. But without anybody else involved in your life, just you and yourself, from adolescence to young adulthood. Why? Because adolescents are still children, legally, as long as they're under 18, but they're really free thinkers. They're autonomous. They want their own autonomy. They're very idealistic. They're concerned about how their life is going to work out. They're not any more little children like school-age children. They're already almost young adults. Not quite. Don't tell that to a teenager. They won't agree with you. But they're supposed to move on. That's how life is, that they're supposed to leave the parents' home and start a life of their own. It is a very scary for an individual, adolescence. And that's where they stick to peers. They use different coping mechanisms to make it through that transitional period. Psychosis, in other words, different psychiatric symptoms, and that's my specialty I've been working with the last 15 years, appears primarily during that time period. They used to say between the ages of 15 to 25, that's statistics. They expanded now between the ages of 15 to 30. Schizophrenia, bipolar, behavioral, what we call acts 2, like narcissism, borderline personality disorder, OCD. A lot of these different abnormalities appear during the age of 15 to 30. Why? Because that is a very stressful time in a human being's growth and development of life. Even without a predisposition, even without a hereditary component, obviously those who have hereditary component added to it makes it that much more challenging. Even without, that is the time when psychosis appears. For the first time, what we call a first breakthrough, usually around the age of 19 to 21, because that transitional period is very scary. A lot of stress. So therefore, here we are before the holidays, and now we are thrown into a transitional period. Anybody who goes on vacation, when they come back, to be able to transition back into day-to-day life can also be stressful, can take a day or two. I don't know if you ever heard of the concept, I need a vacation from a vacation. What they're saying is vacation was amazing, but now, boom, I'm back into day-to-day life. How do I make that transition? So holidays is a transitional period in the sense that it's not a bad thing. It's not about bad or good. It just is a natural occurrence that there is an alteration in our scheduling. Some people are better at transition than others. Nonetheless, it does cause some hectic, some chaos. A, if you're not aware that this concept exists. B, if you're not honest with yourself, does transition, this is lesson number 2, does that equal chaos for you? Does it? Be honest with yourself. It did for me for a long time. And I'm so grateful that I became aware of it, because once you're aware of it, you're going to learn how to change that belief. The same thing like lesson number 1, does hectic equal chaos? I used to believe so. So does transition equal chaos? Number 3, ask yourself, can you be stable in almost any situation? Can you be stable in almost any situation? 3 profound lessons to learn from what? Not by sitting on the beach in Florida, by being at a hectic time during the holiday season, where there is a lot of shopping to do, a lot of cooking to do, a lot of preparation, a lot of purchasing, a lot of organization included, and in addition to our day-to-day obligations. That is a lot to deal with. Nobody is minimizing it, dismissing it. I want to validate your feelings and acknowledge them, that it is a hectic time. Not a chaotic time. It's a hectic time. It's a busy time of year. There's an added amount of work, of tasks that are added to your day-to-day life, that certain parts of your day-to-day life you can put on hold. Certain project, okay, right now I'm not going to do them because it's the holiday season. However, there are some basic tasks, especially if you have small children, you can't just put on hold. So 3 profound lessons that you can learn from this time of year. Do you believe that chaos equals hectic? Is that true for you? That when it's hectic, you become chaotic and things become overwhelming? If that is true, write that down. Yes, I struggle with that. Be honest with yourself. Number 2, do you struggle with transitions? Are transitions difficult for you? Are they chaotic for you? That's number 2. Number 3, can you be stable in almost any situation? Can you? No, I can't. Certain situations I can, certain situations I cannot. I find it difficult. These are 3 important things to ask yourself, and I'll repeat them again. Number 1, do you believe that hectic, busy is chaos, equals chaos for you? Number 1. Number 2, does transition, where your schedule is off, does that equal chaos for you and you become disoriented, discombobulated, unable to focus, unable to handle things? Number 3, can you be stable in almost any situation? And I write almost any situation because there obviously are emergency situations, traumatic events that if you can be stable, then there's something wrong with you. You're not a human being. You're stoic. You're unaffected by life. We're not talking about that. Be honest with yourself if that is true for you. Okay, now let's take down the 3 questions and we're going to break it down so you can understand what the source of that is. And then we're going to go to another thing to give a little bit of practical advice. And we're going to continue on the practical advice in 2 weeks, how to handle it. 2 weeks? I can't wait 2 weeks. We got to go through the process. This is a healing process. It's not a quick fix, but it does go quick. Okay, we talked about hectic equals chaos. If you're one of those individuals who struggles with that concept, and for you, hectic equals chaos, where does that come from? Where does that belief come from? For you, how come I have a difficult time? You can ask yourself, how come I have a difficult time with hectic that it equals chaos? It comes from a fear. I want you to know it comes from a fear. The source of that fear, we're not going to spend time tonight talking about it because that's a whole different session. And we've mentioned in the last 2 podcasts. If you are interested, I will guide you where to go and where you can learn more about it. Hectic equals chaos is a fear. A fear? Really? I thought it's stress. I thought it's overwhelm. I thought it's challenging. Where is there a fear? I can't handle what's going on. I don't see any fear here. I just see chaos. I'm overwhelmed. I have too much to do. There's no time for me. I can't complete my task. Where is the fear here? The fear is perfectionism. The fear is not completing the task, not doing it well enough, not doing it perfectly. That's the fear that causes this belief that hectic equals chaos. If you're not so concerned about what other people think about you, if you're less concerned about doing your tasks perfectly, if you're less concerned that your children need to have the best costumes in the neighborhood, need to all look exactly alike, like uniformed soldiers, if you're not concerned that whatever it is that you're preparing has to be wow, to get that wow effect by your neighbors and friends, if you're not concerned that you're not going to be able to give the gifts that you want to everybody that you would like to give it to because of time constraints, especially this year that comes out on a Friday, the holiday, if you are not concerned with being perfect, what other people will think about you, you will notice that for you, hectic will not equal chaos. If you're not concerned that your meal has to have 6 dishes on it and has to have everything on it and all the trimmings, and the truth is it doesn't matter what holiday we're talking about, you will change this belief about hectic equal chaos, because that comes from a fear of doing it perfectly. What will other people think? This is a conscious thought. This is not something that you consciously are aware of. That's why we call it, again, Mindful Mondays. We want to bring these concepts that are causing havoc in your life. We want to bring it to your conscious, because really that's the only place that you can do something about it. If it's in your subconscious and you're not aware of it, you basically can't do anything about it. Once we bring it to the conscious, how do we do that? You started already the process by being honest. That's the only way. Your subconscious will not react to lies. Your subconscious will not react to exaggeration. Your subconscious will not react to minimizing or denying. Your subconscious will not react to any of that. If you want to heal from these fears, you got to be honest. You got to admit, hey, yeah, I am afraid. I am afraid what other people are going to think of me. I am afraid if my children are not going to have the most amazing experience. I am afraid if the food is not going to be perfectly done and I don't have all the 10 dishes, and again, I'm just giving a number, that need to be. I am going to be afraid if I don't bake all the products that I do, instead of making it easier for me and I buy some products from the bakery or cooked items from the caterers. Yeah, that's a subconscious fear that causes a belief that hectic equals chaos. So that's the first thing. So you got to be honest with yourself. That's why I told you, write down the things that you are unhappy with. You see the progression. See, if you don't have the things that you're unhappy with, you're not going to be able to answer these questions appropriately. You see the progress? Hopefully you do. If not, we will have an opportunity in the Q&A. We'll be done in about 15 minutes or so, and that will give you an opportunity, probably about 15, 20 minutes, to get to hear your questions about what we're talking about. Now, we said that transition equals chaos. In other words, you're at a time that's not regular. It's a transition. You're transitioning out of a very specific schedule, whatever that schedule is. The kids get on the bus at this time. I go to work at this time. I eat lunch at this time. I come home at this time. Everything has its schedule. However organized you are or not, you still have some sort of schedule. And now we put a wrench into your schedule and we add a holiday. So for a week or two before your regular schedule, we have now a transition. We now have a schedule. We have added things that we got to fit into our life sometimes, and we have to sacrifice certain parts of the schedule. That can equal chaos. What does that come from? That's also coming from a fear. Not being able to handle a transition comes from a fear. What is the fear? The fear is simply unable to prepare, a lack of preparation, a fear of preparing, a fear, I know this sounds crazy, but it's true, a fear of being stable, a fear of being successful. What is the fear that comes from lack of preparation? It could come from a fear of failure, is the very big one, which is similar to the first one of the fear of perfectionism. I'm going to fail. A fear of commitment. I don't want to be, fear of restriction. These are very common fears, something that we teach in our program a lot about, and we're not going to get into it tonight because each one of them we could spend an entire podcast on, and maybe we will at some point. But it is a fear of an inability to prepare appropriately, and it causes procrastination. When there is procrastination, transitions equals chaos. And when there's procrastination, hectic equals chaos. So you see, if you have these beliefs, if you are struggling with transition, if you are struggling with hectic, there's a reason why you struggle. The beautiful thing about it is that we can heal those. Absolutely, we can heal them. The last question we asked that we're going to talk about, and yes, I know I'm only giving a brief explanation here on purpose, because like I stated, it would be impossible to teach all this right now, because the importance of understanding really Mindful Mondays is really just to open up your mind, to make you cognizant. And that in of itself, the beginning of the healing process. Like we said, in order to heal the struggles that you go through, you got to start by being honest. You got to have that self-awareness, which is what we're doing here. The third question was, can I be stable in any situation? Can I be stable in any situation? And that also comes from a fear. And the truth is that the fear that I'm going to mention here is really the fundamental fear of all of the above. And that fear is, am I enough? Am I good enough? Am I okay just being okay? Sounds like a very simple concept. Can I be okay just being okay? It takes a lot of work, a lot of inside work to get to a point where you can be at peace with you, where you can be okay just being okay, that you are enough. Because if you do not believe that you are okay being okay, that you are just enough as you are, you're going to have a difficult time being stable in any situation. You're going to have a difficult time in hectic situations. It's always going to be chaotic. You're certainly going to have a difficult time in transitions, because that is going to cause such a level of instability, because you're already unstable, because you're not okay being okay. And if you're not okay being okay, if you're not enough just as you are, then you're going to have a hard time, especially this time of year. And this is the best time to learn about this. Like I started with that, this is a great time. You can learn so much at this time of year. This is amazing. What a gift. All the tasks that are bestowed upon us, all the expenses, all the different meals and all the preparation, instead of just doing the task and just being a human being, be a human doing. Get involved in it with your mind, understand, be cognizant of it, have a different perception of it. You can learn from it. How are you going to learn from it? Just to a simple review, write down what you are upset about the holiday season. What scares you? If nothing scares you, if you have no fears at all, I'm not really sure why you're here, because I don't deal with people who are very happy and have everything together, have their life together. However, if you don't have everything together and you're struggling with that, those who put in questions, we're going to answer them after we finish. We'll get to the Q&A. There is a reason that you are feeling this way, that your perception about yourself, about life, is overwhelming. And that's why when you hear the word holiday, Passover, oh my gosh, it's 4 months away. That means that you weren't stable 4 months ago. And that means that you don't know how to handle hectic. That means that you don't know how to handle transitions. That means that you don't believe that you can be stable in almost any situation. And that fear comes from not believing that you are enough. So important to be honest and write down what you're unhappy with so we can get to the healing. Real eye-opener. So now we're ready to get to the solution. Everybody ready? Beautiful. I want you now, we're going to get back to what we started with, talking about the holiday. It is a holy day. That's what the word holiday means. It's holy day. It's a good day. It's a good day. And some of you may ask, and I certainly asked over the years that I was in my struggles, really? The good day needs so much chaos? Does the good day need so much preparation? Does the good day have to be so costly and so much? Can I just have a good day? Can I just have a holy day? Of course you can. But amazing to learn about it this time of year, when things are busy, when there's so much to do, especially like I said, if you have a large family, if you have children, getting everything together. So now you all wrote down the things that you are upset about the holiday. Let's talk about what the holiday represents, what the holiday, the holy day, is supposed to be. The holy day, the holiday, is one thing. It's one thing. Yes, it is a celebration. It's a celebratory time. It is one word, and we're going to talk about that. The holy day, the holiday, it's a time not just of reflection, because it's also true. It's a time of connection. The holy day is a time of connection. If it's a spiritual day, which it is, it's a time to connect to God, your God, whatever it is that you believe. It's a time to connect. It's a time to connect to family. It's a time to connect to others, right? We give out gifts. We give out charity. These are times of connection. The most important connection in your holiday, in your holy day, is a time to connect to yourself. If you struggle connecting to yourself, you're not going to be able to appreciate what the holy day, the holiday, what the is coming to teach you. You're not going to be able to appreciate the wonderful things about the preparation of the food, the buying the costumes, the clothes, spending the money, putting the list together, putting the gifts together, cleaning the house, setting the table. You're going to lose the whole beauty what the holy day is teaching you if you can't connect to yourself. And if you don't think that you're good enough, if you don't think that life is a gift, that you are not deserving of the blessings bestowed upon us, that life is not an entitlement, but it is a gift, you will struggle in your preparation for the holiday. You will struggle in celebrating the holiday, and you will definitely struggle cleaning up after the holiday. How do we get to that? We taught you. Write down, be honest. What is it that you are unhappy with? You can't do this without honesty. And impossible. That is impossible. That is impossible. You gotta be honest with who? With yourself. It's embarrassing in certain situations to talk about this in the open. It's embarrassing to go to our spiritual leaders and tell them I'm having a struggle with connection. It's embarrassing sometimes to even talk to our partners, our spouses about this, and it's certainly embarrassing to talk to our children about it. If you're having a hard time talking about this, come to our program. We heal this. This is what we heal. This is what we do. Because it's such a profound time of the year, our team got together and said, how can we help people more? How can we heal people who are struggling, who are suffering, who are having a difficult time raising their families? What can we do for them? I'm on a mission to help 100 million people. Yeah, a pretty audacious goal. Help 100 million people. I've helped several hundred. I'm on my way. And we have a special time this year because this is the time to do it. That if you get in touch with our office and you want to find out more about our program, we have free webinars, this is free, totally free. And you want to connect with us, talk about connection and find about the first 10 people that do that are going to receive a free session with me. Free, absolutely free session with me. If you join our program, we will give you a free session. I'm not done, just telling you what we decided to do to make the transition possible. 845-400-9466. You call our office. We'll talk to you about this. I'll give you first 10 people. I'll say, what are we going to do for these people? If you do not have a connection with yourself, you are going to struggle. I guarantee you, you're going to struggle with these concepts, the preparation, the celebration, and the cleanup. However, once you get to a place, once you connect with yourself, you will notice that your connection with God, your connection with your family, your connection with strangers is going to be so different that these 3 beliefs that you wrote down, that hectic equals chaos, totally disappear. I promise you. I promise it will not be chaos. I promise you. That's where it all comes from. You will not struggle with transitions. I promise you. You will not transition. I promise a lot of things, and they all come true. Just ask members in our program. This is what we heal. And I promise you, you will be able to be stable in almost any situation. How do we get to that? By being honest. What am I unhappy with? What am I struggling with? Getting out of that denial. Healing starts with that honesty. And when you do that honesty, do yourself a favor. Call the office. We'll talk to you. Do yourself a favor. Have a free session with me. I would love to do it. Why do I do it? Because I was there. I know how much it hurts. And I feel very blessed that I've been directed to the solution. Once you heal that, hectic will not equal chaos. Transitions will not be challenging. You will be able to be stable in any situation, almost any situation. And later, that list of what you're positive with God, with family, with others, and most importantly, with yourself, wow, that would be amazing. And that list of what you're upset about now, I bet you if you go back and look at it, your list may change. The practical aspects of how to do all this, that's in 2 weeks. Come back in 2 weeks, and we will get down to the practical levels. For now, for this holiday, you've done a lot. There's a lot of healing in our little podcast here. A lot of healing. This last hour, you have learned so much. And if you went through it and asked yourself these questions and did what we were talking about, I promise you, this holiday will be completely different. Okay, thank you. We're going to open up for Q&A. I just want you to know that our last podcast, the recording from the last podcast, you can listen to. And I'm going to ask my team to put it into the chat for you. For those of you who do not have the chat, I will be more than happy to give it to you. Bear with me one moment, and then we will start answering. 1 minute. So we have it on our YouTube channel as well as Spotify. Oh, by the way, just an added thing for those of you who connect to our WhatsApp group, for those of you who have WhatsApp, if you connect to our WhatsApp group, we are doing a raffle that the top the three people who sign up for that, doesn't cost anything to sign up. You can have a free session with me, 10, 15-minute session. We can talk about whatever it is that you would like to talk about, if there's something that's troubling you. So that's we just want to promote our WhatsApp group. So if you sign up to it, to find out about how to sign up, hopefully it is put in the chat as well. Just give it a moment, see when she puts it in, and we'll be there momentarily. For those of you who want to call the hotline to listen to last month's podcast, 845-241-8855. In other words, for those of you who do not have internet and you want to listen to the recording from last podcast, it stays up there for a month. And then every month when we put in the new one, the last one goes. So if you want to hear the one from 2 times ago, that will not be on our hotline anymore. That's only on our YouTube. 845-241-8855. She's putting it in the chat. Just bear with her. It'll be there in a moment. Again, 845-241-8855. And you select option 19. It's absolutely free. You can listen to it as many times as you like, or you can go to our link, which will be in the chat in a moment. There we go. It's in the chat now for those of you who have the chat. And then we will start answering questions. And like I stated, the first 10 people, we are offering an added thing this month because we want to help you through the holiday season, that you will have a free session, a free 20-minute session with me, in addition to everything else that we have to offer. It's a great offer. Okay, we're going to open up for Q&A. Typically, we answer the questions and answers that come in that people unmute to. We will do them first, and then we will get to the people who text in. You can text in your question to 845-400-9466. If you are feeling uncomfortable unmuting, you can text in the message either through the chat for those of you who are online, or 845-400-9466. Yes, you can text in your question. So somebody texts in, what do you mean being enough? That doesn't sound positive. No, it's not positive at all. If you don't believe that you are enough, you will struggle appreciating what this world has to offer, what life has to offer. So that is a fear that causes people to struggle with being stable in almost any situation. That is the fear, that belief of not believing that I am enough, of not being able to handle preparations, to procrastinate. But you said we should be being enough. Yes, exactly. Yes, I'm saying this is the fear that causes, I guess you missed that point. This is the fear that causes one to struggle believing that they are not enough. If you feel that you are enough, you will not have these struggles. But the fears that you are not enough is what's causing people to struggle with transitions. Hectic equals chaos, and being stable in any situation. What does it mean enough? That you're okay just being a human being. That every human being has positive aspects and negative aspects. And the more you are aware, that's what we call mindful, the more you are mindful of what your good traits are and your negative traits are, what your skills are, what your weaknesses are. A weakness is not a bad thing. A lack of doing something is not a bad thing. Just identify, giving yourself an identity of who you are, being able to write down, these are my positive attributes, these are my weak attributes, my negative attributes. Just being okay with that, with what you're good at and what you're not good at, is saying that you are good enough. But if you're unable to do that and you're running away from not admitting where you are at, then you don't believe that you're good enough. And if you don't believe you're good enough, you're going to struggle with your preparations for the holidays and other things. What is the fear that causes us not to be okay with being enough? There's multiple things. It can come from childhood. It can come from criticism. It can come from trauma. It comes from a lack of nurturing. It's a multitude of sources of where that comes from. And we are conditioned. People who go through that are conditioned to believe that they are just not good enough. If they were not accepted and loved and nurtured appropriately in their home, they will have this intrinsic belief that they're not good enough. If they're spending their lifetime trying to prove their worthiness to others, that means that they're unstable. Okay, did anybody else have a question or a comment? You can press *6 to unmute, or you can text in your question, 845-400-9466. Yes, hello, 95. Hello.
Yeah, I don't know if the answer is going to come next week, but I'm going to say that I feel in the answer, I feel like I can't enjoy it because I always feel that I'm not good enough. I'm not doing it good enough. I don't know how to do it like in the holy part, that I just am not being able to do it good enough, so I don't enjoy it.
I can understand that's what we're talking about. Yes. And the way to heal that is by being honest with yourself and what you're struggling with and gaining that identity. That's what we teach in our program. That's a process. So it's not the holiday that is the problem. Obviously, it's going to be more pronounced in the holiday season where there are all these, but that is not the solution. So to get past that, to start to celebrate it and enjoy it, is instead of looking about what you're not good enough, focus on what you have. You have a family, you have blessings.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate it. It's really simple, is just looking at the blessings that you have family, that you're alive, and that will take you out of this belief that you're not good enough. But it's important to identify, and thank you for being so honest and courageous to mention it, because that's obviously what this struggle is. We start to believe that the struggle is the actual holiday. It's not. The struggle is our belief about ourselves. Make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Anybody else have a question or a comment? Is there a recording from tonight's podcast? Yes, there will be. Not yet. Has to be edited. Takes a little over a week to happen. It will eventually come. Anybody else have a question or a comment? I guess everything was understood. Again, if you don't feel comfortable unmuting and speaking, you can always text your question. We'll wait another couple of minutes. You know, everybody likes to hear everybody else's questions and comments. Podcast is amazing. Thank you. Can you share 2 useful ideas on how to stay focused on what we know and not lose our clarity? Knowledge is powerful, but when the mind gets trapped. So there's something that called, very good point. There's something that's called cognitive dissonance. You mean it's hard to keep ourselves? What do you mean by that? I don't understand that, what you just said. Yes, hello. Are you the one who's asking? You were always muted. Are you the one who's asking the question now in the chat?
We want to ask a question.
No.
Want to ask a question?
You hear me?
I do.
Hi. I'd like to ask you a question. My son is married and very interesting. He has also an anxiety. So when he's next to his wife or is with her, he's fine, smiling away. But when he's not, when he's for himself, he has all kinds of thoughts and anxiety. What do you make out of it? What do you think? What can it be? What can I do to go in different ways also on anxiety?
How old is he?
23.
So when you say when he's with his wife, you mean at home or in an intimate situation?
Not at home or walking or coming to me.
Okay, so he feels calmer with her.
Yes, much calmer.
Okay, so she's a good anchor for him.
Yeah, it's because he wants to play for her. I understand that, but we could see on him that he's technically much better and much calmer, and he's himself even when he talks to her on the phone or something. But when she's not involved, then that is not clear. He was always thinking about himself and always saying what will be his future and what will be next year or this year. He can't concentrate on things.
And has he expressed this concern to you?
Yes, also.
Okay. And have you asked him, would you like help with that?
Yes, he complained to me, yes.
No, I didn't say that he complains to you. I said, have you asked him if he would like help?
Yes, he goes for help. He goes to a therapist.
Okay.
It's again and again. He'll say that. So the therapist could tell him things what to do. He says the same thing. He feels he can do nothing. He feels he's like a little child, not grown up, and he feels that everyone laughs at him, and he feels I think. But when he's next to her,
so the therapy, would you say that the therapy is helping him or it's still not quite helping him?
Not really.
No. Okay. So if you would ask him if there are certain beliefs that he has, that certain conditioning that he developed in his upbringing that causing him to be concerned with what other people think of him.
His upbringing, a very good kid, and even though till the 18 or 19 years, he didn't have all kinds of these problems. He was a happy child. He was going to college, different place, and was everything good. He wasn't very very loud, but he was very satisfied in this stage of life. Like it was everything good for him.
So
he had friends and.
So it could be, it's very possible. This is from epigenetics. In other words, it's passed down from generations. And like I said, as a transitional time between adolescence, 18, 19, till a young adulthood is a very challenging time for human beings. feelings. And it's very possible that subconscious stress caused him to be very anxious. And until that belief and that conditioning is healed on a subconscious level, he will continue to struggle. The fact that he has a wife that's an anchor for him, that's a blessing. So that she's helping him and supporting with him is a blessing.
Yeah, but then he also has a fear that she should know how bad he is because he thinks he's so bad.
Understand that there are certain conditions and beliefs that he has that is causing him this anxiety. And until those beliefs are uncovered and healed, has to go through a grieving and a healing process. Exactly what we do in our program is what we teach, is what we heal. Then he's going to continue to struggle. So if you're coming to me to ask me what I would recommend, are you asking me that? Or are you just asking what do I think it is?
No, what if a man that could be without medication, just therapy?
No, unfortunately, therapies don't always get to the source of what it is. See, our program, when we focus on the source, which is the beliefs, and once we can heal those beliefs like we did tonight, is when everything else is addressed. There's certain beliefs that he has that he's not aware of. He understands the symptoms. He's unhappy. He's anxious. He's worried. He's scared. He's unstable, correct? Based on what you're telling me.
He's feared from everything. Like they say, fear of the unknown. Fear, I love a child.
He's always looking at life from a negative perspective.
Very negative.
Yes. There is a belief that is causing him to be afraid.
His belief is that he's not grown up regularly. He can't solve problems.
Again, there is a very specific belief. I don't know what it is, but we have a process in our program that uncovers that belief that he will find out. His subconscious knows the belief. His subconscious knows the belief. I would recommend, if you're asking me, have him call our office and we'll have one of our coaches have a very quick session with him and talk to him about it. And maybe he'll be interested. We get a lot of people come to us from therapy. Therapy deals with thoughts and behaviors, correct? Do this, do that. You're thinking this, don't think that. True?
Yes, but he doesn't have behaviors. He doesn't have wild behaviors. No,
he has behaviors. He's anxious. That's a behavior.
Yeah, okay, yes.
That's a behavior, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a symptom, correct?
It's a symptom, but yeah, okay. I guess
so
a lot of symptoms.
You can't heal the symptom by dealing just with the symptoms. That's what psychiatrists primarily do. They deal with the symptom. They'll give him an anti-anxiety medication, maybe even an antipsychotic medication.
No, it doesn't just anti-anxiety.
That's what I'm saying, which deals with the symptom.
Yeah, but it's two things. The doctor gave him that, and the therapist.
And again, same thing. They're dealing with the symptom. The uniqueness of our program is we deal with the source of what the symptom, where the symptom is coming from. Do you understand?
But he's very locked himself. When the therapist asks him this question, what he feels, he just says,
he's suffering immensely.
Yes.
He is suffering immensely and he's looking for a solution. Those are the people that come to us because that's what we heal. We heal that source. And until he uncovers that source of why he is never suffering, he's going to continue to jump around and struggle in life. And it's affecting you, obviously, as well as his father.
For sure.
It's very challenging to watch your child suffer like that. So there is a certain belief that he has. What the source of that belief is, his conscious knows. We just have to unlock the compartment that is holding that belief.
Yeah, he takes stupid things for his belief. He can't write nice and he doesn't read.
No, I'm not talking about those beliefs. I'm talking about that there are certain beliefs that he has about himself that are causing him to use coping mechanisms that are unhealthy just to be able to function, correct?
This, but it doesn't function really. When it's not with his wife, it doesn't function.
I hear that. And I want you to know I empathize with you and I understand what he's going through. I've seen it. And this is literally what we were talking about tonight. He doesn't believe that he's enough.
He believes he's nothing. He can't do nothing.
He
can't pay credit card,
you can tell him from today till the cows come home that he's enough. It's not going to help because he's afraid to believe that he is enough. It's not logical. It's not a logical problem and therefore cannot be a logical solution. It's a subconscious problem that needs a subconscious solution.
He's asking all the time, how will I be? How will I be?
Yeah, I'm
smart for this problem.
9 out of 10 people who come to our programs start off with the same question.
How long is your program? Hi, the wife sitting here.
So we start off with an 8-week program. That's what we start off with. That is we take them through 5 shifts of healing, and that is to get them into shift 2 is an 8-week program. We start off with that.
Like how many times a week?
Everything is pre-recorded. We have multiple Q&A. If he's a male, we have for men once a week Q&A that they can actually be involved in. The other ones they can also go to. They can only text their questions. They can't mute. So we have about 5 Q&As a week, 5 or 6 Q&As a week.
But me Q&A means a question and answer session?
Question and answer sessions. Yeah, all the other sessions are pre-recorded sessions. They come with workbooks, so he doesn't have to. He can do it on his own time. They all come with the workbook.
Like you would say, this program works like he wouldn't have to take medications.
A lot of our clients do go off medications eventually, yes. Not all, but a lot of them do.
And if you want to read all these books, the pre-recorded lessons or books, because he is not good at it?
It's a workbook that accompanies the pre-recorded session. That is on his own time.
What's the phone number from your office?
845-400-9466. And just send in a message and somebody will get in touch with you. I really empathize with you. To be a parent, to watch your child go through this.
Yeah, because it came out suddenly. He was a very healthy child and it came out at the age of 19, 20.
That's exactly what I said at that age.
Yes, right. It like became out of the blue. Like he was
So it is possible. Was he diagnosed from a psychiatrist?
Yeah, because
What did they diagnose him with?
Basically an anxiety, but
no. That's okay. So in other words, they haven't figured it out. Okay.
His problem was he didn't speak to them. He was so
I understand
himself.
Right.
I was there with him and he didn't talk. Like, I thought maybe
but he
he's not crazy than he is. And I told him he's not crazy. And Nahom is very collected himself.
It has nothing to do with intelligence. So if he wasn't psychotic, if he wasn't hearing any voices, things, so it's just some OCD and some anxiety and possible depression, that's very treatable.
Yes, it's more that and no voices.
But he always thinks on the same things. Like whenever he's on himself, he has to go to the davening or whatever he does. He always thinks this, and that's why he can't concentrate. Then he says, I can't talk to people because everybody says something and I don't remember. I can't talk into them.
I understand.
He gets more anxious.
He has difficulty focusing. I get it. Yeah.
Difficult focusing and just saying over and over the same. Thank God that he doesn't get any other thoughts, but it's basically, I can't read, I can't spell, people make fun of me.
Yeah, his anxiety is not letting him be calm so he can focus and function.
And is your program like he has to do a lot of work? Because I don't know if he'll do it. Do they give them a lot of work to do?
No, we don't. It's just the opposite. They just got to show up once a week and talk to us. Hopefully he listens to the recordings every week, but if he doesn't, we have other ways of doing it. And if he needs one-to-one, we'll do that.
I see.
We have various options. I've dealt with this many times in the last 6 years that we're doing this, and we've healed a lot of people with the...
What's the success rate?
95%. Those are the people who continue. In other words, who continue till the end of the program. The people who come in and move forward is about 65%. The people that stay until they're healed is 95%. We have a very strong success rate.
So in 8 weeks, you think that he'll be healed? Possible?
No. The first part is 8 weeks. We just have to get him out of the denial and open his mind up a little bit. We only ask them to commit to 8 weeks because if you ask for more, the mind will not allow them to do the work. It's remove pressure, not add it. So our first program is an 8-week program.
And can I ask you, what do you charge for the first 8 weeks program?
That the office prices for that, yeah. They're offering some special discounts.
What's thereafter? What's the next?
Then we go into the next shift is a 3-month program.
And then it's finished or then still different shifts, more shifts?
There's 5 shifts altogether.
Oh.
So we take them through the 5 shifts and everybody's different.
It could take a year.
Yeah. There are people who are with us longer, sure. But it's very specific. Sorry?
What's the name of the organization?
It originally was KTPO, now it's Ascent, ASCENT.
Oh, this is on the back of the Ascent.
Oh, you've seen it?
I see Ascent, yeah, back of you, like it comes up.
Oh, that's why I have it, yeah.
You see me also?
No, I can't see you. You have your camera off.
Oh, that's off? I just walked in the middle of the talk and my wife showed me all this whole thing.
No problem. You can turn your camera on if you want. It's up to you.
I'll put it on.
Everybody's going to see it?
Everybody sees?
Yeah.
Only the people that are online can see you. The people that are calling in from a landline phone or a cell phone cannot see you.
Okay, fine.
You don't have to.
Right.
It's not important.
Is that helpful?
I really empathize with you as being a parent, but you're very fortunate that he is aware of his struggles and he wants help.
Yes.
I want you to know that is a miracle. There are many people who have these symptoms and all they do is blame and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to let anybody know. They don't want help. I know it sounds strange. And these people come into our psychiatric emergency room all the time. And it's very challenging for the family when you have somebody who's suffering. The solution, you may not know exactly the solution, but you know that there is help out there and they just don't want to do it. It's usually people who are more psychotic that they're
Right, but yeah, because then they go upon their life.
No, their psychosis is not allowing them. They're so paranoid that their psychosis is not allowing them to receive help. And it's very sad. And then if you give them medications, they don't like a lot of the side effects, so they don't take them when they need them.
He knows exactly.
It sounds like he has
between people, he knows how to handle it. Then he has fear. Goes back to
I cut you off.
Yeah, I said that he knows how to handle it when it goes to people, but he has a fear. Let's say he has to go to a party, a wedding, friend, a family. So he won't be loose and smiling. You can see him. He has to go now through something. He has to shake their hands, but he does it. So really, most people, they don't see nothing. I think today he doesn't smile, has a bad day. But so he wants to be in the status. He is in the status. Nobody knows what suffers, just the family, the parents.
He's very fortunate that he has nurturing parents who support him, and a lot of parents who call. There is a lot of denial, and he's really very fortunate that both his father and mother are on the same page, and that is one of the strongest. And his wife, like I said, he has a lot of good things going for him. He may not realize it, but he really does, and that is not the norm. That's really not the norm, unfortunately. It's very possible that it's epigenetics, it's transgenerational. It came from your mother as far back as that, and you didn't do anything wrong, and it's coming out at this stage in his life, which is very common, but it's certainly treatable.
Why just now? Why didn't it happen 10, 20, 30 years ago? So many people have now all these problems. In my generation, I was young. I had no one. I can't remember no one like this. Such a scenario, a normal person.
There was plenty. You just weren't aware of it. People didn't talk about it.
Today they say every family has family members suffering either anxiety or depression or whatever.
So I have not evaluated every family on this planet, so I can't respond to that generalization. Whatever it is, it's here now, and Hashem, we have a solution to it.
I see. Thank you for answering us. And
my pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Like I said, we'll reach out to the office. We'll speak to you, and if he's interested in getting help, that's half the battle.
Yeah, he wants the press of a magic pen, so we have to convince him but he wants to be better, but he wants it in one shot.
He's no different than anybody else who comes in. We all want that magic button.
Yeah, and I know.
For anything and everything.
The truth is that life is a mystery.
It is.
And when a person is unstable, that's a very scary truth for them. And they don't, and you can't explain it to them. But as time goes on with our process, people are more accepting of that fact, and they look at life from a different perspective. Their anxiety literally goes away, and they can start functioning a very functional and abundant and purposeful life. Takes time, takes work, not always easy, but pretty simple. And I'm a perfect example of that. I was not much better 24 years ago. I was suicidal. I was into a crisis center. So wasn't far from where your son is now, although I was 20 years older at the time.
Wow.
It's a beautiful example.
So I understand it. I've been there. I respect it. All the work I do is for people who are lost like that. And that's what we do.
Wow. Yes. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for the courage. I'm sorry that you're going through this struggle, but hopefully with the right direction, we can help them out.
Man, thank you.
All right. I believe the number is in the chat also. You can see it. Did they put the number in the chat? Let me just put it in the chat so you have it. The office number, 845-400-9466. Okay. Reach out to us. Somebody, you can leave a voicemail or you can text it in, and then somebody will get back to sometime tomorrow. Okay. Can you get back to my previous question? Yes, I apologize. Thank you. Let me see if I can find what could be knowledge is powerful. It's hard to keep. I'm not understanding your question. Knowledge is powerful, but when the mind gets trapped, it's hard to keep yourselves what? On how to stay focused on what we know and not lose our clarity. Okay, now I understand. The mind, the subconscious, there's a subconscious and there's a conscious. Clarity, let me know if I need clarification. I understand the generalization of your question. If you want to get more specific, you can, but I understand what you're saying. Do you want to add to it, or that's okay? No? Okay. It's basically how to act out of consciousness and not out of subconscious. Okay. Yes, I understand. The subconscious means it is below the conscious. The conscious mind is what we humans have greater than other mammals, other creations in the universe. The subconscious responds to the conscious mind. In other words, whatever we tell it to do, it follows as long as we are honest. That's why tonight we started off by saying that you had to write down what you are unhappy with about the holiday season, what it is that scares you. You have to be honest. If you want the subconscious to heal that conditioning, you have to be honest. Polarity is something that is a process in order to get to. As much as people want, believe, feel that they want clarity, a lot of people are afraid to know the truth. They're afraid of clarity. If a person is afraid of clarity, which can come from trauma, it comes from conditioning, and it comes from a multitude of conditioning. Viktor Frankl, I love his book, Man's Meaning. He was a psychiatrist that he survived the Holocaust. And when he got out, he went back, and I've told the story a few times, and every time I love telling it because it's so powerful. He went back to Vienna, to his hometown, and he told his neighbors, and he lost his pregnant wife. He came out, he had nobody, literally nobody. And within 6 months, he was back at being the chief psychiatrist in the Vienna Psychiatric Hospital. And he was telling his neighbors and acquaintances about the atrocities that the Nazis did to him, other people. And they all answered pretty basically the same idea. Oh, we had no idea. Now, he was in the Holocaust, I believe, for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember exactly the amount of years. It wasn't less than 4 years. It's somewhere between 4 and 7. I don't remember exactly. He nearly died like 6 times from malaria, from other things, malnutrition. So imagine for yourself, just for a moment. I know it's hard to fathom going through such a horrific time, but imagine for yourself, if you can, our mind will allow us, what that means to be enslaved. We can compare now in Earth's Row with the hostages, right? Imagine what it is to come out, to be freed from that, all those atrocities, all that slavery, all that beatings, and everything else that went on. And you go and tell people about this, and they say, oh, we had no idea. And instead of getting angry, which would be the normal response, he gave them a pass. And he stated that all humans decide not to know certain things. When I read that, I nearly fell off my chair. I couldn't imagine ever giving an individual who harmed me, a society that harmed me so horribly, killed my family, to just say, oh, everybody doesn't want to know certain things. Blew my mind. It's hard just to wrap your mind around that. For me, it is anyways. Maybe for people here, they can just accept it as is. I have a very hard time imagining. It's too mind-blowing to imagine somebody who lost his whole family to come out and give everybody just, okay, no big deal. Humans decide not to want to know things. But such a profound lesson. I'm not talking about the humility on his part and the forgiveness on his part, but the point that he was stating, that is what I'm focusing on to answer your question. That a lot of times we don't want clarity. We don't want to know. We prefer not to know certain things. And anybody who says that's not true, they are just lying to themselves. If you are struggling with clarity, that means there's a certain part of clarity that you are afraid of, that you don't want to know. That needs to be addressed in order to heal. I don't know if you're a member in our program or not, but if you want to find out about it, again, everybody got the number from the previous caller. There is a belief that you have that is blocking you from living with clarity. And that's why you have struggled focusing on consciousness in a conscious way, as opposed to allowing the subconscious, because the conditioning of the subconscious that you're too afraid on a certain level. What could be one of the beliefs, possible beliefs, that clarity is scary for you, that reality is scary for you. Used confusion as a coping mechanism because maybe you went through trauma, maybe you experienced some type of trauma, maybe you weren't nurtured when you were young, you were not allowed to express your feelings. There's a multitude of possible things that cause you to be afraid of being clear, because there is a belief in your subconscious somewhere. It is there, definitely there, that is preventing you from living with clarity in certain areas. I am certain that there are certain things that you are clear on and you're okay with it, but there's certain aspects that are blocking you is because there is a belief there that is not allowing you. And if you got mixed messages as a child that your parents, again, I'm just giving an example, your parents fed you, housed you, took care of you, but didn't allow you to express feeling, you got a mixed message of what it is to live with clarity from that. Therefore, it is too scary for you, it's the source of it, for you to live clarity now. And therefore, as much as you desire it and strive for it and want it, there's a part of your subconscious that's not allowing you to do it because there's a belief there that it's scary, that reality is scary. Make sense so far? So there are some mixed messages. What makes clarity scary. How is clarity scary to a person? Yeah, they'd rather not know. It's not logical at all. I'd rather not know. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody wants to lose weight. Get on the scale. No, I'd rather not know. I don't want to know my weight. What is it about reality? Again, it's very possible that people who have gone through trauma, that reality is a scary thing for them at some level, certain parts of reality. I'd rather not know. Could be fear of disappointment. Yeah. A fear of rejection. Yeah. Disappointment's a very good, yeah. Disappointment, rejection, neglect, all of those. Make sense? Yes? No? How does the original list ask us to make of what we don't like about the holidays fit in with the rest of your talk? How does that list help us resolve our issues with enjoying the holiday if what you said is what we need to heal the belief that we are not good enough? Yes. So you got to be honest with yourself what you're not happy with. That's why that list is so important. It's the beginning of the healing process. If you can write down and be honest, hey, I don't like this. You see it in your face, the healing already starts there. And that is why you are struggling, is because of that belief. When you just say that you're not enough, you don't even know what you're struggling with unless you write that list down and be honest with where you're at. It's the only way. It's like a GPS. When you want to go somewhere, it says from your current location, you got to know where you're at, you know where you want to go to. In order to get to where you want to go to, you got to write down what you're unhappy with. So you got to tell your subconscious, hey, I don't like this part. When you understand that it all has to do with I'm not good enough, oh, we can look at that. Now that I understand the problem that I'm afraid not good enough, that is why I have this belief that all these things are so challenging. You will notice just by being honest with that you will become less concerned with that list that you wrote. It will not hurt you. It will not affect you as much. Can you give 2 ideas for someone that is afraid of clarity because they'll have to look at true reality square in the eye, have to admit the hurtful disappointment? I don't know what you mean by 2 ideas. First of all, I don't know why you need 2. What's wrong with 1? I don't understand. I gave an example. Person who wants to lose weight and they're afraid to get on the scale to see how much they weigh. That's a perfect example. They don't want to know how heavy they are. I don't want to go to ask my parents for something because I'm afraid of rejection or disappointment. I don't want to have, great example. What could be an advice for them? There's no advice. We don't give advice. It's not how I work. I don't give people advice. They got to be in enough pain to understand. And then there's a process of why they want to lose weight in the first place. But until they're willing to accept the fact that they're unhappy and stop looking at other things, they're not going to get it. That's why the clarity has to come with the source of it, which is what we're talking about. And that's the honesty. That's why we wrote down those lists. Okay. Anybody else? I think that's enough for that. You have enough to go on. You can absorb that for a little while and work with that. Anybody else? A question or a comment before we go? We still have a little bit of time. Everybody's hanging around. People like to hear other people's questions and answers, which is great. Once again, if you feel uncomfortable muting, even though I do prefer the unmuting because then I can really talk to somebody, you can always text it in. If I love the holiday time, enjoy family time, and if I know why I procrastinate because I don't like the pressure for so many months, trying to save money, and know it's an overwhelming time with all the added tasks, change of schedule. This is a great question. I'll read it again a little bit louder and a little bit slower. By the way, the person who wrote this, are you still here? The person that asked, I'll answer it anyways, but are you still here? The person who texted in the question. Yes. Okay, awesome. Great. If I love the holiday time, enjoy family time, and if I know why I procrastinate because I don't like the pressure for so many months, trying to save money, and know it's an overwhelming time with all the added tasks, change of schedule. How do I know if that's being honest with myself and accepting it or in denial? Since at the last minute, prep is always overwhelming, and the other members like to be comfortable and don't like the fact that it's stressful. First of all, you have a lot of beliefs in your question. You believe that it's pressure for many months to save money. That's the first belief that you have. So you're already right there. In other words, one of the things that you're upset about is that it's expensive. So by you saying that you love the holidays and enjoy the family time, that is a bit of denial, and you're lying to yourself. Because if you really loved it, then the sacrifice to have to budget yourself in order to be able to afford all the things that you like on the holiday is something that you don't like. So you don't enjoy it, because I always give the example. Do you have children, by the way? Do you have small children, or did you have small? You have children. Just, do you have children? Yes. Beautiful. Okay. I don't know how old they are. It doesn't really matter to answer this question. Did you or do you, if they're small, you're still doing it. If they're older, you don't do it anymore. Did you or did you enjoy ever waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to change a diaper or to feed a baby? Did you ever enjoy it? Do you ever like it to change a diaper at 3 o'clock in the morning and have your sleep broken? Do you like doing it? Did you like doing it? Waiting for your answer. Be honest. Didn't bother me. I didn't say it didn't bother you. I know it didn't bother you. I said, did you like it? That was not my question. Did it bother you? Did you like it? Were you excited about doing it? Or just, and your answer didn't bother me, it's going to fit in exactly what I'm about to say. But first, did you like doing it? Be honest. Yes or no? I don't know why you're not answering. I'm waiting. Did you like doing it? My question was, I know the belief why I procrastinate. 1 second. You don't want to answer that. Did you like doing it? Because you didn't like doing it, but you did it anyways. It didn't bother you. Why? Because you wanted to have a family, wanted to have children. We don't do what we like. We do what we want. So you're telling me that you procrastinate because you would like to save money? I don't understand. That doesn't make sense. I'm not understanding. I'm sorry. You said you don't like the pressure for so many months. That's what you said. That was one belief. Okay. And what's the other belief? Why you procrastinate? Of the overwhelming time with the added tasks, right? That was the second belief? Yes. So once again, so you have this belief that hectic equals chaos, that it's overwhelming. You have a belief that you need to save a lot of money, means that there is some perfectionism in you, that you need to be a certain way in order for you to enjoy the holiday. And it sounds like you've been putting extra pressure on yourself because of these beliefs when you are doing a lot of your wants and not all of your needs, that you are going above and beyond your abilities, either financial abilities or physical abilities, and ruining the joys of the. Do you see that? You have a belief that it's overwhelming. If it's overwhelming, that means that for you, hectic equal chaos, which means it comes from perfection. So you've created this whole scenario of these beliefs that are based on, that are not the true belief source of why you struggle, because you are adding extra pressure onto yourself that doesn't necessarily have to be. So you've created, in other words, you are causing yourself the overwhelm, not the holiday. That's my point. And that comes from a belief that you're not good enough doing less. That would not be overwhelming. So that's true. What does that mean? I think there's a misspelling there. Sorry. No, it's okay. Just there, you didn't get your response. Just retype it. It'd be easier if you unmute, then we can correspond easier. So if it's true that I'm creating it, yes, absolutely. Yes, you're creating the overwhelm. Absolutely. 100%. By certain subconscious beliefs about you trying to prove. So you're trying to prove yourself on a certain level, and therefore you're going above and beyond your means, creating this belief that it's overwhelming and it's very expensive and you got to spend months to save money, when it does not have to be that way. And we're going to discuss this in our next podcast more about that. That's in 2 weeks. We're going to talk more about that belief. So yes, your subconscious is creating this, making it harder for yourself than it really has to be, because you have a belief that in order to enjoy your holiday and your family, it has to be just, and that's what we call perfectionism. Make sense? Yes? No? Waiting for you to respond. But if I also don't enjoy the other options, I'm choosing not to change. Okay. So whenever a person the problem is that you're using logic to try to solve your problem. Whenever you only have A or B, then you are in what we call survivor mode, and you will struggle as you are. And something that we teach in our program is option C. And option C is a way for us to get to those deep-seated beliefs. Like one of them is that I'm not good enough, is one of the major deep-seated beliefs. And getting to that you will notice that there's more to your solution than just A or B. If you're only living with option A or B, you're going to struggle, because you think that the only way out of this is that you have to change and turn all this stuff over, which is a half-truth. In other words, it's not true, okay? You don't even know what the other options are, because you're not allowing yourself to look at them, because we still haven't uncovered the true belief of why you're doing this. It's not in the behaviors. Okay, that's what we thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're on the way. At least you're honest with yourself. You are, and you're on the way to healing. If you want to heal, I don't know if you're in our program or not, but if you are, bring it up in our program. If not, you can reach out to the office and we can talk to you about it. You're not that far from the truth, but you're suffering a lot because of it. And I empathize with you and I validate those feelings. They're very tough, but you're looking at the wrong place for the solution. And that's why you're still struggling. Okay. All right. Anybody else have a question or a comment? All right. Thank you, everybody. Want to wish you everybody, and hopefully you got a little bit of clarity. And I know it's not like a quick fix and do this and do that. It's not how healing works. It's a process. And just by opening your eyes a little bit and understanding, I promise, really do, you'll be amazed. That alone will help in the few days before Yom Tov, because you'll start looking and saying, wow, why am I doing all that? Why am I so overwhelmed? Why? Oh, there's a belief there. Oh, okay. And you will notice the healing will happen. We'd love to hear more about it in 2 weeks. Come back and tell us how it went. And like I said, if you want to find out more about us, you can call our hotline, 845-241-88. There's a free webinar there you can listen to. There's a free session you can listen to. And of course, there's a recording of last month's podcast. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Take care.